I'm not going to take positions and I don't want to take sides, right? But with everything that happened during the pandemic, the last 4 years, I believe, have been very impactful in the way people trust the media that used to be the sources of information, and the power of that the internet has taken in being an alternate source of media, of information, and how a lot of governments have lost control over the people. And I believe that, what is a government? A government is, what is a society, I would even say. Society is when people decide to live together. Put 100 people in the same land, they all build their houses. Somebody walks in your garden, destroy your roses, you pissed off, you guys fight, you go destroy their cabbages, they're angry, the wife come out with the gun, shoots you, you go to the hospital, you survive, and somebody goes to jail, and there's a lot of other gardens and a lot of other roses, and somebody edicts some rules. Okay, when you have a house, around the house, everybody's gonna do a fence, and the fence is gonna be this is your terrain, this is yours, and now, starting now, everybody stay in their house and everybody staying in their land. So when you want to walk, you want to go somewhere, you use the street that we put between the houses, but you don't walk in their houses and you don't walk in their houses. All right? It's good, and everybody's going to start being good neighbors. And as everybody's learning, all these different rules becomes law. And that's when you form a society. And once the society have people disagree on something and they can't agree on anything, the society, maybe the rest of the neighborhood, the other 98 people will say, listen, starting now, you 5 people are going to be judges and you guys are going to be jury, and we're gonna see the facts, and from there the judge will take a decision, and this will be the gospel. And if everybody's following these laws and this code of conduct, we now form a society. And at a point, there's another society there, and another society out there, and another society there, and maybe we're in conflict or friends with them, or we want to sell them something, whatever. We're not gonna all go 100 people and negotiate with the other 100 people of the other society. So we elect people who represent us, and now you have a state and you have a country. Maybe our 100 people, we become the country of Shada land, and you elect me as your leader, and you trust me to take the right decisions for everybody, and everybody's taking care of their micro environments, everybody taking care of their little lands, the 100 lands of everybody. And my charge is to take care of the globality of the 100 lands and be the voice that represent all of you guys. And if I do a good job, you keep me there. If I don't, kick me out. And I guess this is democracy. And The people who are, yeah, the champions of democracy, he feels that they don't like to apply democracy when it comes to themselves or their countries. He feels like with the panic of the pandemic, all these mandates, a lot of people behind the excuse of wanting to do good and working for the people, they took a lot of decisions without asking to the people what was their opinion. And yeah, you're not going to go sit down with the 100 people. But if every 10 people or every 20 people has somebody that represents them to create a parliament, normally, if I take a decision that is really drastic, like, hey, everybody stay in their home because it's dangerous out there, maybe I should consult with the 5 people who represent the 100 people and explain to them why I'm taking this decision and give them the information. And maybe these people say, yes, do it. Or maybe they say, we don't agree. Us on the West, us two, we represent 40 people. We don't agree with what you're saying. Us, we represent 60 people. Okay, let's do a vote, etc. Boom. Everybody cool. Give the information to everybody. Everybody go see their people. And everybody move together as a unit. But all this, yeah, it works well in the fairy tales. But add a little bit of money. Add a little bit of power. Add a little bit of ego. And everybody goes crazy. And everybody think that they can run the world the way they want. And I believe that the last 4 years really hurt the idea that a lot of people in a lot of countries have of the people that they elected. They believe that they elected people who don't really care about their opinions. I don't know if this will create something in the next election in different countries. It depends where you live. But I know that in France, people are kind of pissed off. And there's been a lot of decisions taken for Ukraine, for the vaccines, for this and that, where the people who are taking those decisions don't want to answer to the people. And listen, a lot of people are saying, yeah, listen, we do agree with supporting countries that are in a war. But why do we support this one and not all the other ones? Just asking. People are just asking, not me. Me, I know why. But people might ask this question. And when they ask the question, the only answer they get is, how dare you? So now, people who were struggling already to make ends meet, they end up with an electricity bill that is 3 times what they used to pay. Maybe they could pay 100 and something, and it was hard. Now, the people just decided, no, starting now, you're going to pay 500 because of this, because of that, because it's Ukraine and we're the forces of good. So you have, listen, you have to be part of it. And you're like, would they be part of it if it was for us? We don't know. But you cannot even ask those questions. Why are we in this? Why nobody cares about diplomacy? Why all this? And I believe that we are assisting to the beginning of the next this millennium this next century is going to be way different than the one before, because we just spent the last 80 years since the end of the Second World War. Listen, I love how they say World War when it's actually the Europeans between themselves and the Americans and maybe a little bit of the Asians. Like it wasn't in Africa. Like when they were done, they just decided, yeah, you take this, you take this, you take, and you're like, yo. I love how when things happen to them, I mean to us, I guess I'm French, but when it happens to them, yeah, it's the world, it's crazy, oh my God. When it happens somewhere else, they're like, But when we give our point of view, let's say you ask somebody right now in Congo, somebody who's like in Benin, where these guys have been suffering for 10 years, right? If you ask one of those people, hey, so what do you think about Russia, Ukraine, and they're gonna tell you, I don't give a fuck. What you mean? Because you don't give a fuck about me. We've been dying for 10 years. Why would we give a fuck about you? It's not the same thing. We are the good people. Yeah, are you? And we can really see after 1 year since the invasion of Russia in Ukraine, I believe that this whole thing started way before. Started probably with the Maidan Accord, even the fall of the old government. And the CIA, the Americans, have been actively trying to do stuff in there. But that's not the point. But I believe we are now at the verge of a new world where, I mean, I don't believe, and I hope that people are smart enough to not take us to all nuclear conflict. I believe that both Russia and the US want to just keep it in one territory. So actually the people who are suffering are the poor Ukrainians. The Americans are just spending money and sending weapons, and same as the rest. As long as the conflict stays out there, yeah, it's kind of cynical. Yeah, you guys exterminate each other. For us, what's important is the business, is how much is the oil, where can we get the gas? That's the only thing that matters to all these people. But what I'm seeing in a strategic way is the end of a monopoly on the world, the end of a unilateral world where it was just the Occident, which was the US, deciding who's good, who's bad, who are the good people, who get the money from the IMF, who gets dollars, and when you get dollar, our dollar is the law, etc., etc. You had this, and you had the Europeans just following whatever the Americans said. Like, we don't even have our own army to defend ourselves, like to defend the borders of Europe. Everything is NATO, which is the US. And you now have new blocks, and I think we are entering in an era of multipolar factions that might not be at war with each other and might not even not like each other. It's just that a lot of countries are fed up with the idea that the French, the UK, the Americans are deciding who's good, who's bad, and who gets points, who gets nothing, who's called evil and gets sanctions. And when you get sanctions from the US, other countries don't have a choice. They have to follow suit, because the US will tell them, hey, if you don't sanction, we'll bully you, we'll give you sanctions too. Any company that works with those people, they will not work with us, so they will not get our dollar. And the problem is that the dollar is the world reserve, and you cannot do a world where the world reserve belongs to one country, because that country can abuse that power and use that power to control everybody. And we've seen this with Angola. Angola was just removed from the SWIFT 10 years ago, and they didn't have access to dollars, and no bank could exchange kwanza, which is the local money. So the market and the purchasing power of Angola, the possibility to buy abroad and all these things and to invest in other countries were just stopped when they were actually eating Portugal here. So if you are Angola, you look at this like, yo, I might not want to be part of a system where I can be removed from the system by just one country that decide. I might just decide that, yeah, listen, I want to be part of a group where, yeah, I'm using my own money. And yeah, I might not want to be part of SWIFT anymore if it means that if I don't do what the Americans want, I can be removed from it. And I believe that we are really entering this multipolar world where you're going to have like, you know, they removed Russia from SWIFT, and they were saying like a year ago, and they were happy to say it, yeah, this will destroy the Russia economy. And actually Russia economy is actually doing good. And they are surviving without being part of our monetary system. They are now having their own. So the SWIFT is a messaging that interbank messaging system, right? So it's a way to send money from places to other. But there's a lot of ways to do it. You have crypto, you have this, you have that. So the Chinese have another system that they are just using with the BRICS: Brazil, China, India, Russia, South Africa. They have their own sphere of influence, and the Americans and the Europeans is one, the Occident, and then you have Africa, that everybody's looking at Africa and telling them, hey, follow us. And the Africans are like, well, what you mean? Well, you follow us. If not, we're going to do this. And people are like, yo, you've been bullying people for a long time, yo. The Africans are not sure. Some of them, yeah, listen, they want to work with China. Some of them, they want to work with Russia. Some of them, they want to work between themselves. Some of them are realizing that maybe Gaddafi was right. We should have had our own money. And when he said that, he got a missile on his face. Some people are starting to be like, yo, all the resources are here and we're poor. And the people who are corrupting our governments are saying you're poor because of your government. And you're like, well, listen, if I'm a president and I do all the things that I'm supposed to do, trust me, the Americans will do everything to remove me from power. It's simple as that. Because one of the first things I will do is revoke all the contracts. I will check all the contracts and I will make sure that the money that is made go to the people. And I will also make sure that to maybe lower the corruption, I will make sure that when some people are doing some deals, they get compensated. So that people who run the country are rich enough that they don't need to be corrupted. And so that the people of the country themselves are also rich enough and proud enough that they cannot be corrupted. And try to raise the poverty level, to raise the wealth level of everybody. Put everybody out of poverty. At least everybody had water, everybody has food, etc. But trust me, when you do this, some people will come and destabilize your country straight away, because the instability is why they can make money. Listen, I arrive there. First thing I do, no more Twitter, no more YouTube, no more this and that. No more American companies running their internets here. And local companies. We want a local Twitter, we want a local this, we want a local that. And internet is free for everybody. So that people can be centered around their country and look, go to the internet, look for outside, look for information, look for this, but not have, and listen, I would do an African CNN that belongs to African country, that is funded by African country and is independent. But if you have these visions for yourself, by yourself, listen, you're alone in this world, because there's always going to be somebody who will find a way to put some rebels at your doorsteps, to even if all your government is comprised of millionaires, if you got America, they can just print whatever money they need. They will say, yo, yeah, you have 1 million, but what about having 10? How does it feel? What do we feel to have 10 or 20 or 30 million? And boom, they corrupt everybody around you, and now you're alone. But I think the world is interesting. I believe that what is going on now is not something new. Everybody is trying to make us believe that it's a Ukraine and Russia thing. I believe it's something that has started way before that. I think it's something that started 20 years ago, and that it takes a long time. But it's been a long time that a lot of the countries are just fed up that 10% of the population, which is it's almost 8 billion people, right? Europe has 400 million people. America has 400 million people. So in total, the Occident is 800 million people. So let's say 1 billion people. Well, there's 7 billion more people. And you have 1 billion people who are telling everybody, yo, these are the good people. These are the bad people. We have nuclear weapon, but you cannot have them. We have this, but you cannot do that. Oh yeah, we polluted the world like crazy, but we want Africa to be green. Don't pollute, but we polluting. Hey, we want this. We have that. You cannot have this. We decide the prices of everything in the stock market in London or in New York, but you guys cannot decide everything. Even if all the resources are in your countries, let us fix it. And hey, by the way, democracy is good. Everybody has to have democracy. Even if pandemic, we don't care about democracy. We take decisions for our people, and we have people in the European Parliament that nobody voted for take decisions for everybody. And yeah, but you have to do democracy, and you have to do democracy the French way or the US way or the English way, and we're gonna force you to do it. And a lot of people are saying, no, bitch, we are not interested. Because it's been a long time that those people are seeing the destruction that these people have been doing around the world. A lot of people, I've never been to Iraq. I don't know how it was before. I'm not saying it was great before, but it was worse now. I've never been to Libya, but I heard it wasn't a place that I wanted to go, but I think it was better than it is now, where now you have all these migrant stuff, all these missiles that you sent in the name of democracy are biting you in the ass. Listen, Lumumba, CIA, Panama, CIA, Ukraine, CIA, all these people are doing a lot of things for their business to stay an hegemonic power, and it's because it's an empire. Occident want to stay on top of the game, and all of us who are in the Occident, yeah, we are profiting from that, and yeah, we want to stay on top of the game because Yeah, we want to be richer, all of us. And there's 7 billion people who are like, yeah, we don't want to play the game with you anymore. And yeah, listen, we're going to have our own monetary system. We're done of the global thing because the global thing was made by you for you. Now it's going to be, you want to have our stuff. Well, you will have to work our way with our system using our money. We don't want dollars anymore. You can pay in gold or you can pay in this and that, and we will have our own little system between us, and you can have yours. And I believe that as a French person living in Portugal from African descent, I believe that Africa has its cards to play, because a lot of the Middle East, they have a lot of oil and they are playing their cards right. I mean, right. I don't know if they're right, but they are playing their cards knowing their power. Us, nobody is giving us the choice, because most of the time people are trying to choose, and we don't even we don't have the maturity yet to rethink all of this. Most of the people who get in power in our countries, and not all of them, because it's a lot of countries with different sets of people and problems and solutions, but a lot of people are just selfish. So people don't see those things the way I see them, which is really in a global way, where it's like, yo, geopolitics, you have to have your own power, so you make sure that people will not use and abuse you. And I think they got very surprised when they realized that, yeah, not everybody is condemning the invasion of Ukraine by Russia around the world. There's like 30 countries out of 100 and something that were like, we have nothing to say. China has nothing to say. Everybody was like, oh, with no vote. How you say? Abstention. A lot of people were just like, no vote for us. And a lot of these people are like, since when you have a voice? Like, when you hear the journalist, it's not like, oh, those people, they don't want to agree with us. It's more like, hey, since when those people, why? It's not cool. And people are like, listen, it's not a question of being cool. It's a question of, you guys work for your own interest, and you've always did it, and you've been pretending all these years that you're not. So we're going to start working for our own interests. So you guys deal with your stuff. It's not our problem in reality. And we're going to deal with our stuff, because we have our own problems. And when you have problems, you want these to be the problems of the whole world. But when we have problems, you don't care. So I believe that it seems, and we'll see. Listen, none of us know the future. I hate all these commentators who are giving you the future and explaining, but it feels like we are shooting ourselves in the foot. It feels like it. But only the future will tell. And to conclude about this subject that I think is very interesting, I would tell you a story about me arriving in the Zouk market. I probably told it before, but I learned a lot about politics and geopolitics, not by watching my parents, but just by being in the Zouk market. When I arrived in the Zouk market, everybody was saying, oh, it's amazing, fresh blood. Oh, he's African, so he's going to have new ideas. He's going to take us to somewhere different. The guy's cool, blah, 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 blah. He does Zouk plus R&B plus rap. Well, and everybody was looking at me like from the side, being like, oh, it's cute, whatever. But nobody ever thought that from 98 to 2003, so in a short 5 years, I would be on the top of the Zouk game. I would not only with my own songs, my first 3 albums, sell more than everybody and just arrive at Kassav level. But at the same time, I would also produce other artists that were not even from the West Indies, like Sumia or Elisio, or Mika Mendes, Looney Johnson, help create hits for Nelson Freitas, George Chiquat Pedro, etc., etc. Nobody thought that in 5 years I would be on the top of the game. Soon as I was on the top of the game, the friendship started changing, and a lot of people started being scared of me. And me, I was like, we're still friends, right? And everybody was like, yeah. But it started having a lot of conspiration and a lot of desire from me to be taken down and to take all the artists that were working for me and bring them back to the different labels in Section Zouk, etc., and put me on the side. And me, I was like, I don't understand. What did I do? The same people who tell you, bro, you amazing, you're going to revolutionize music, are the same people who are angry at you because you did exactly that. You revolutionized music. Now these people, they hurt because you did what they could not do. So now they're hating. And you're like, but you said I was gonna. Why are you angry that I'm? You are the one saying that I would do it. Now that I did it, you're pissed off? And then you start realizing that you believe that you in the music market, it's art, everybody love each other, kumbaya. No. There's a lot of ego involved, and there's a lot of money involved. When you sell 80,000 copies of the first free album you release on your label, you generate 800,000 euros. A lot of people that generated 50,000, 100,000 that year, you generated 800,000. All of a sudden, you are dangerous because you take all the money. They believe that it's their money. And now you start hearing stuff like, yeah, that's not real Zouk because you're African. And me, I'm like, I never said this was real Zouk. This is Zouk and hip hop and R&B mixed together. This doesn't even have a name. Yeah, but this is our music. Fuck you. And you start having like those passive aggressive things all the time because you are becoming too powerful. And the people who invest the money, they want to invest everything in you because you are powerful, you fast, and you make albums for nothing because you make the beats, you make the bass, you write the songs with the artists, you supervise everything. What they need a team of 10 people to do, you can do it yourself. So now you are a problem for those 10 people because you are actually taking their place and everybody's scared for their place. So the legacy players who were really encouraging you, telling you, yeah, go ahead. Those people are now like, yo, somebody's going to stop this guy. And so they start going to the DJs. Hey, you have to stop playing his music. They go to the radios. Hey, you have to stop playing his music and the music of his people. They go to the clubs. You have to stop hiring this guy. The answer of the DJs, the music is too good and it's too popular. I cannot stop playing. The radios, he's number one. I cannot stop playing Candy Zouk. The clubs, what you mean stop hiring him to perform. I hired him in my club 5 times in a row. The last 5 Saturdays, I remember it was a club called La Cinquième Dimension. I probably had like 500 to 1,000 people in the club. I don't remember. They hired me 5 Saturdays in a row. It was packed every time. Packed. Even people that came the Saturday before, they would come again. And the club were like, sorry, the club is full. But I came last week and I could not enter. You have to arrive earlier. And I would come, perform, see the same people and not understand. We are in 1998. And now, 2001, nobody ever did opening in Paris in the Zénith, which was the big club. Nobody ever did the opening for Kassav. Never. And they asked me to open their big show. So I'm the first ever artist to open in Paris, at least on that big stage in there, that specific show of Kassav. I was one of the first artists to be invited to open for them in 99 or 2000. I don't remember when it was. And now a lot of people are saying, yo, why him? I don't know. I didn't ask for all of this. All I did was do my job. And I do my job well. I'm good at what I do. And I trust that the people who like my music enjoy my music. And a lot of people, they were just trying to destroy this because it meant for them that whatever they were doing without working right, they were making money, so they didn't want to change anything. Everybody was chilling with their laurels, and I arrive out of nowhere, and nobody's seen me coming and disrupt the whole business. So everybody was pissed off. And time goes by. We are now in 2021. So 20 years have passed, more. 24 years have passed. And all these people, they're happy now. I'm not in France anymore. I'm not in the market anymore. So everything is clear. They can go back to do their thing. I'm in Portugal. So, yeah. What I heard was that there are a lot of people that, he finally fell off. And then something happens on TikTok. Something going on makes 2.4 billion views on TikTok. 800,000 confirmed videos created on TikTok all around the world. From China to Indonesia to France to Brazil to the US. The song just explodes. And all of these people are like, it's him again? Yeah, bitches. It's me again.